Unidentified flying objects or unidentified flying phenomena have been at the forefront of many people's minds of late. The Academy to the Stars and even the United States Navy have been openly discussing anomalous objects reported and captured on film by servicemen and women and the general public alike. For me, these reports are interesting, and it would seem they are increasing, and this is what makes me suspicious. It has long been the case that UFOs provide an excellent cover story for the military and their contractors. Today, as technological abilities rapidly advance, the construction of ever more sophisticated drones is producing aircraft with capabilities that, when seen flying, could match with what most commonly perceive as a UFO and possibly an alien craft. It is for this reason that I like older evidence. Although we may not have as many pictures and no video exists, it seems to me that in an era before manned flight, that these reports should carry a little more weight. The particular story that really sparked my curiosity are the reports of huge, what is termed, airships. So let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history and mystery. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss a video again. The UFO phenomena took its first step into the mainstream with the flying saucer sightings of Kenneth Arnold. This occurred at a period of time when air travel was fairly commonplace. So if we look back before this period of history, what do we find? Let's look at the many reported sightings from the 1800s. Globally, people were witnessing what they described as ships in the skies, airships, if you will. There have been a number of varying theories as to what these vessels could have been. Some say that, like today, they were prototype aircraft, hot air balloons, blimps, or some other early form of flight. Some say that this is an impossibility due to the characteristics and abilities displayed by these machines. So, could they have been visitors from another world? Could the idea that these things have traveled the stars and then are spotted in our atmosphere be correct? It is a popular theory, and we do have documented cases dating back way before the 1800s. Pick your time period: prehistoric cave paintings of strange objects in the sky, biblical stories of wheels within wheels, or the reports of sun dancers from the Middle Ages. There is a commonality in what is being described by witnesses from all of history that cannot be ignored, and this is why investigating these UFO cold cases is so important. So what was it that was being seen? Often, these airships were described as lights in the sky, flying at altitudes that made it impossible to make out details. There are other sightings that did take place, with the object being much lower. In these cases, witnesses said they saw a craft that was cigar-shaped or long and cylindrical, often appearing metallic in construction, with platforms and even capsules attached to various parts of a large main body. These craft sometimes moved silently, while others reported a strange droning sound described as sounding like an anchor being dragged along the ground. Other witnesses saying they heard a low, steady buzz, something comparable to the hum of electricity in a pylon wire. The variety of different types of craft could mean a couple of things. If these are extraterrestrial ships, could they be a specific design that was built to operate closer to the ground, or maybe ships that are built for differing purposes, observation vessels, exploratory ships, or even alien drones? Another idea could be that they are not the same, as they are from different races of alien visitors. This playing into the idea that the Earth is an alien zoo. Well, not so much a zoo, but more like a safari park. Extraterrestrials cruising around the planet, seeing all the strange creatures that call Earth home. Maybe, if we dig a little deeper into some of the reported close encounters, we will find some answers. From 1896 there was a period of 12 months that saw a wave of mysterious vessels in the sky above many of the US states. These were well documented and covered heavily by the newspapers at the time. Thousands of Americans were left scratching their heads after spotting cigar-shaped objects illuminated by many different lights buzzing their way through the air. Those that saw the UFO commented that it cruised slowly over the ground, shooting beams of light onto the areas that it looked as if it was interested in. Often, they told of how once the lights were shut off, the object would accelerate away and disappear over the horizon faster than a bullet. The same craft, or maybe there could have been a fleet, was seen over Colorado, Kansas, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. The strange vessel also made its way above more urbanized population centers. It brought Chicago to a standstill. Two of the most detailed sightings come out of the great state of Texas, both stories being so similar that it is almost impossible to deny that the witnesses saw the same craft. A1 Frank Nichols stated that he was awoken from a deep sleep by a machine noise coming from outside of his home. When he went out to investigate the bizarre sound, he saw one of the mystery airships, and it was descending into one of his fields. He said that two men carrying buckets then approached him and that they asked him if they might draw water from his well. Just 24 hours earlier, John Barkley also was awoken, this time by his dogs. They were barking and had become agitated by something that was happening outside of the house. As John became more awake and his senses began to catch up, he noticed a whirring sound. The man knew that apparent sightings of strange airships had been occurring, so he grabbed his gun and made his way out of his property. What he saw shocked him. A large airship was slowly landing in the nearby field. Barkley described the ship as being an oblong shape with wings, with side attachments of various sizes and shapes. There were many multicolored lights which were much brighter than the electric lights he was familiar with. The amazed man slowly approached the craft as it settled from its descent. A figure then came out from the airship and approached him, asking him if he could lower his gun. John did so and then asked the figure his name. "Never mind about my name, call it Smith," the figure replied to him, before asking Barkley if he might purchase some items that he needed for his journey. The mystery man handed Mr. Barkley a $10 bill and requested some lubricating oil, 2 cold chisels, and a bluestone. He told Barkley to keep the change, and in return for his kindness, they might call on him some future day. Future sounds like something a certain Dr. Emmett Brown might say, but more on that in a bit. Perhaps the strangest thing was that the apparent pilot of the huge airship said to Barkley his response as to where he was from. "From anywhere," replied the stranger, "but we will be in Greece the day after tomorrow." The man and his strange craft then vanished back into the sky, never to be seen or heard of again by John Barkley. Then, on the 6th of May of the same year, during a rainy evening at Hot Springs in the nearby state of Arkansas, a sighting was reported by Deputy Sheriff McLemore and a Constable Sumter. A man described as having a long beard approached the two police officers while they observed other crew members stocking up on water. This apparently for some upcoming journey. The bearded gentleman offered the two policemen a ride on the airship, stating, "We can take you where it isn't raining." Was this the same traveler from the previous interaction with John Barkley? It was a very strange event, and a police report was made that should be added to the list of evidence to push for full disclosure. Talking of disclosure, the competition to win the disclosure shirt is all wrapped up, but more on that at the end of this video. Now, many of you may be thinking, here we go again, a concentration of UFO sightings over the United States. I see so many comments about UFOs only appearing in America, but as most know, this is very untrue. Strange aerial objects are reported globally and, I would say, are more common over Southern American countries and Europe, and this was the case in the past too. These strange airships were seen in England, Wales, and other regions of the United Kingdom, as well as in Germany and as far afield as New Zealand. If you would like to research some of these events yourself, here is a list of the locations and dates for you to look into. Mr. Barnyard and Mrs. Day, Christmas 1908. Fred Harrison witnessed a strange aerial object on the evening of the 21st of April 1909. And then there's Burghley House, a historic building in my hometown of Exeter, on the evening of the 9th of May. Joseph Cooper and George Walden spotted an aerial object shaped like a policeman's truncheon in the early hours on the 14th of May of the same year. Still in 1909, Mr. Mitchell and a Mr. Riak witnessed a large boat-shaped structure overhead at around 10 a.m. on the 30th of July. 2 days prior, multiple witnesses in Timaru would report a light heading inland from the sea. Behind this large headlight were two smaller lights, and as it came closer still, the cigar-shaped dark body of an airship-type craft was revealed. I will let you find these reports and the many others from that time. They make for an interesting read, but are too long to cover here. So as these things were being spotted all over the place, a growing panic set in. What were they? Why were they here? And what did they want? But before any of these questions could be answered, the sightings stopped. In the years that have followed, craft that resemble those reported from the 1800s have been seen, but not with the same regularity. So we have been left to speculate the answers to the questions that the witnesses had all those years ago. These answers have proposed many different theories. These include your standard ideas on extraterrestrial visitors, but also cover time travel and the involvement of the Men in Black. Let's begin with the idea that these are from the future or may have originated in another dimension. The article linked in the video description suggests that researchers, such as the famed Jacques Vallée, the French-American computer specialist with a background in astrophysics, who once served as a consultant to NASA's Mars Map project. Jacques Vallée is one of ufology's most major figures, having published numerous books covering multiple extraterrestrial theories. Vallée highlights the fact that in many of the interactions people have with the beings from these craft, even human-looking travelers whom pilot these airships, conversation and trade takes place. The travelers often speak English, even with regional dialect and accents. They go about looking to gain some local currency or purchase products from the area which they are flying over. These people and the vessels they are traveling in being time tourists. Another occurrence that Vallée points to as proof of this idea is the short period of sightings and the exacting times of the interactions. Most of these events happened between 10 and 11 p.m. in the US, and on the opposite side of the world, New Zealand, at the same times, but in the AM. Could this point in history and time be a destination for the people or beings from the future? Maybe we should head out to watch the new Terminator Dark Fate movie just to brush up on our time paradoxes. If they are not time traveling, could they be traveling dimensions? The year 1909 or the locations being points where the crossing between dimensions is possible. I think these theories do have a problem in the fact that the cigar-shaped craft are still being seen today. Could they be ships of a more modern design, or has the way in which we describe the air vehicles moved on? The final idea is that the mysterious airships could be from the civilization that is said to live inside of the planet, but Inner Earth theory is something I have covered in a number of other videos. Go check them out if you want to know more. What do you think these airships were or are? Which theory do you think is most plausible? Let me know in the comments below. In competition news, I have been working through the competition entrance and hopefully I will draw the winner this week. Thank you to everyone who took the time to enter, and a special thank you to Andy Richards for supporting the channel via Patreon. If you would like to help the channel, you can check out the links in the video description. And, as always, hit that red button, like, and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.